My mother tells everyone everything. After work today I casually grumbled, and she told the neighbors. As a result, I was reported by some people and lost my job. She was stunned. How could this happen? I only told a few people. My father fumed. If we don't stop you, you'll spread it all the way to foreign countries. My mother's loose lips have been well attested by our entire family. She loves to share everything, from trivial domestic matters and pushy feuds to even the hole in my father's underwear. For this, my father has quarreled with her countless times, telling her it's fine to chat casually but not to reveal our family secrets. She always insists she hasn't, claiming she's just gossiping. Yet every time something happens at home before nightfall, the whole neighborhood knows. I truly dislike this trait of hers. She's my mother. What can I do? I can only endure. But despite my precautions, trouble still struck. I came home late today and casually complained about overtime. Little did I expect that my mother actually took those words to heart. The next day, I heard people whispering behind my back that I'm a complainer. Sensing something was amiss, I asked my parents as soon as I got home if they had spread my words. Both shook their heads. Of course not. Why would I say that outside? This matter could be serious. If the wrong people get hold of it, it'll be a disaster, my father replied first. After saying this, he seemed to think of something and turned to my mother. What about you? Did you say anything outside? No way, my mother immediately denied. How could I spread rumors outside? I didn't do it. You can't accuse me unjustly. She vehemently denied it, clearly annoyed at being questioned by us father-daughter duo. But recalling her past deeds, I couldn't help but ask, Mom, this isn't a joke. My department head thinks highly of me. If the position above opens up, I'm very likely to be promoted. Please don't mess this up for me. I'm begging you. I pleaded in a humble tone, for I was certain she was the one who spread the word. My younger brother studies in another province. There are only the three of us at home. My father has been out running around these days, busy with settling payments and rarely at home, so it could only be her who talks to the neighbors about such things. Thus, I earnestly begged her not to spread any more rumors, thinking of all the overtime I'd endured recently. But as soon as I said that, she exploded. Why do you assume it was me? Whenever something bad happens, you blame me. Do you think I have nothing better to do? Stop being so paranoid. Am I a criminal or your family's slave? You all just blindly pin the blame on me without a second thought. Maybe you're the one who slipped up outside. Why are you blaming me? She shouted loudly, visibly enraged. My father and I were startled by her sudden outburst. Seeing her red-eyed, we quickly apologized. Swayed by our sincere attitude and constant coaxing, she finally felt better. However, she made me swear that I wouldn't wrongly suspect her again. To appease her, I complied. I swear that from now on, I will never suspect my dear mother at the first instance. If I do, may I be struck by lightning, I said, raising my right hand. That's more like it, she beamed, the wrinkles around her eyes relaxing. But halfway through her smile, she suddenly looked hesitant. Is it really that serious? It's just some idle chatter. Are your leaders really that petty? It's not about pettiness, I sighed. Complaining about overtime is trivial. But the real issue is that secrets can't be kept and spread like wildfire. No leader would favor or value an employee like that. My mother fell silent, and I thought the matter was finally over. Even if the situation escalated, it should have died down after a week. After all, if it's just idle gossip, that's enough time for people to lose interest. But I was too naive and underestimated the malice of human nature. One day, just before Shaban, an urgent document arrived in our team. I took it and distributed the tasks, hoping that by sharing the workload, we could finish earlier and leave work. But when I sat down, my leader suddenly said, "There's no need for you to work overtime. You can leave." I was stunned, and my colleagues also looked over. His tone was so strange, almost sarcastic. I was at a loss, not knowing what I'd done wrong to deserve such words. Before I could explain, he added, "I don't dare to let you work overtime. Who knows how you'll slander me behind my back. By the way, I really don't like employees who can't keep their mouths shut." With a cold sneer, he turned and left. I stood there dumbfounded, watching his retreating figure as fear and panic overwhelmed me. My colleagues' eyes darted back and forth between me and the leader. Then they lowered their heads and quickly typed on their phones. I knew they were privately messaging each other, trying to figure out what had happened and why the leader, who used to be amiable, had turned so sarcastic. They didn't know the truth, but they would speculate. From the leader's words, they could infer something big. I stood there, alone and embarrassed, on the verge of tears from humiliation and indignation. Feeling humiliated is one thing, but being betrayed is another. Despite my repeated pleas and warnings, she still blabbed to outsiders. I was on the verge of a breakdown. At that thought, I lost all motivation to continue working overtime. With trembling hands, I packed my things, trying desperately to hold back my emotions. As soon as I got home, I broke down in tears. Seeing my mother sitting on the sofa, chatting on the phone and constantly criticizing my younger brother. My suppressed emotions erupted. What on earth did we do wrong? I shrieked. Why do you keep telling others everything? I've told you so many times, don't do it. Why do you turn a deaf ear? Now look at the mess. Are you satisfied? I was scolded by my leader, and he looks down on me. Are you happy? This has happened twice. Is there a hole in your mouth? Or is it just naturally incapable of keeping secrets? Why are you doing this to me? I cried uncontrollably, sliding down the wall and collapsing onto the floor, sobbing loudly. Startled by my outburst, she hurriedly hung up the phone and reached out to pull me up. I slapped her hand away, refusing to let her touch me, and continued wailing. Just then my father came home. When he opened the door, he was greeted by the sight of me crying hysterically and my mother looking panicked. What's going on? Why are you crying like this? What happened? Don't cry. We can talk about it, my mother said, desperately trying to pull me into her arms. I struggled wildly, sitting on the floor and glaring at her guilt-ridden expression, filled with hatred. Sensing something amiss, my father suddenly asked, "Is this about the previous thing? Did your leader find out?" Leader? Ha ha ha. I laughed through my tears, staggering to my feet and pacing barefoot around the living room like a madwoman. The leader praised me, said I can't keep my mouth shut and spread everything outside. He really doesn't like subordinates who can't keep secrets. He told me to leave. He said he didn't dare to trouble me with overtime. Ha ha ha. Indeed, our family can't keep any secrets. I laughed maniacally, hyperventilating until my vision blurred. My father gently guided me to sit on the sofa, placing a pack of tissues in my arms before turning to confront my mother. What's going on? How did the rest of it get out? Zhang Shuzhen, is your mouth as unreliable as a cotton-padded trousers belt? Why do you tell everyone everything? No, it wasn't me, my mother mumbled, avoiding my gaze. There are only 3 of us in the family. If it wasn't you, it would have to be me. But I wasn't home during the day and only got back at 9 or 10 at night. Do you think I went to someone else's house to spread the word? Or do you think it was our second son, who's studying away and hasn't even come back? How can you still deny it at this point? What's wrong with you, Zhang Shuzhen? Driven to anger by my distraught state, my father kicked a chair in frustration. Fine, if it wasn't you, it must have been a ghost. Let's go ask the neighbors, those gossip mongers in the community, and see which ghost told them. Zhou, what are you doing? My mother panicked, rushing to stop him, grabbing his sleeve tightly. Okay, it was me. I admit it. Mom, why did you have to blab outside? Have I ever treated you badly? Why are you doing this to me? I cried hysterically, my mind flooded with memories of all the times her loose lips had caused me trouble. I clutched my chest, overwhelmed by emotion. It's always been like this. Ever since I was a kid, I've had no privacy. Whenever she knew something, she'd spread it around. In high school, when I got close to a classmate, she spread rumors that I liked him. When I passed an internship interview, she boasted that I got it through nepotism. The list goes on and on. I've been so careful, only sharing things when they're final. But I never imagined that even a casual complaint would be spread everywhere. Collapsing onto the sofa, I was sobbing so hard that I could barely catch my breath. Alarmed, my parents rushed to comfort me. My mother hung her head, mumbling an apology. I really didn't think it would turn out like this. I only said a few words. How was I supposed to know it would spread so far? I only talked about it in the neighborhood, and it wasn't anything bad. It was just some harmless chatter. Your leader is being too petty. As she rambled on, convinced of her own innocence, and neither my father nor I responding, her voice grew louder. This is ridiculous. Are we not allowed to talk about anything? What, is your leader some kind of tyrant? I didn't say anything bad about his character. Why is he throwing such a fit? Maybe I hit a nerve and that's why he's so angry. It's his problem, not mine. She firmly shifted the blame onto others, still refusing to admit her fault. I was completely disillusioned. Glancing at her, I abruptly got up and retreated to my room. Behind me, I heard my father lose his temper and smash something, yelling, "Yes, it's always everyone else's fault. You're the most innocent one here, right? If one loses her job because of you, what then? And you say just the neighborhood? Do you know there are several people in the neighborhood who work in the same unit as her? Are you stupid or do you just not care about your daughter? How could you say such things to outsiders? And you're still making excuses." "I didn't do it on purpose," my mother retorted. "How was I supposed to know it would end up like this? If I had known, I would never have said anything." "Well, you know now," my father snapped. "The first time might have been an accident, but after one told you the consequences, you did it again. Is your mouth cursed? You can't keep anything to yourself. Do you know how much people are laughing at us? They say our family has no secrets." By the end of his outburst, my father was gasping for breath, consumed by frustration. My mother broke down in tears, covering her face and repeatedly apologizing, but I knew it was only temporary. This had been a pattern my entire life. She would cry, apologize, and promise never to do it again, but I'd long since learned that she never changed. These stories were her currency in social circles, the best way to draw attention, and she wouldn't give that up easily. At that thought, I let out a bitter, hysterical laugh. After the incident, my leader deliberately ignored me. Without having to do much, just by showing his displeasure, others eager to curry favor with him started making my life miserable. I was forced to work more and more overtime, burdened with endless 莫名其妙的 tasks. It took a visible toll on my mental state. My colleagues, ever adept at shifting allegiances, distanced themselves from me. I was ostracized, left with no one to talk to. Eventually, the overwhelming stress became too much, and I had to resign and return home to recuperate. Realizing the gravity of the situation, my mother had been speaking more softly at home lately, cooking me elaborate meals and trying every trick to win my forgiveness. But I was drained, unable to muster any gratitude for her belated efforts. All I felt was numbness tinged with resentment. However, after facing my cold shoulder treatment several times, my mother snapped. One day during dinner, she suddenly swept all the dishes off the table, sending food and tongue flying everywhere, splattering the walls. I sat there expressionlessly, calmly pulling out a tissue to wipe the sauce from my face, unfazed by her outburst. As I got up to leave for my room, she shouted after me, "How long are you going to keep this attitude? I've apologized. What more do you want? Do you want me to kneel down? I've been raising you for so many years. Is this how you repay me? You're just like your father, always holding grudges over every little thing. What have I done so wrong that you give me this cold shoulder treatment?" She grabbed my arm, demanding an explanation. "I'm tired, Mom. I'm too exhausted to argue," I said wearily. When she tightened her grip, I forced a sad smile. "I don't want to talk about this. Let go. If you have an issue, talk to Dad. As a child, I'm not in a position to criticize you. Wait until Dad gets home." But she refused to let it go. "Fine, I'll kneel then. Isn't that what you want? Is that enough? Or do you want me to kowtow?" As she started to bend down, I snapped. "Is this an apology? You're trying to force me into forgiving you, using our family ties and moral obligations to pressure me. You still don't think you did anything wrong. You're only doing this because Dad and I have been ignoring you, and you can't stand it. You don't feel guilty. You want to make me the villain, make everyone see me as an ungrateful daughter who refuses to forgive her mother. You might as well wish for me to die." Overwhelmed by my pent-up anger, I felt like I was going crazy in this house. Looking at my mother's unrepentant expression, I was tempted to smash everything in sight. "Of course you're never wrong. It's always us who are at fault, the whole world. What's wrong with sharing a few secrets? You might as well tell everyone our bank card passwords. Go ahead, tell the whole neighborhood the combination to our safe. Go on." My mother stood there frozen, unsure whether to kneel or stand. I scoffed, shook off her hand, slammed the door behind me and started packing my things. I couldn't take it anymore. If she thought I had no right to call her out, then I'd leave. Let her talk all she wants in this house. I immediately called my brother, who was away at school, warning him not to share anything with our mother and learn from my experience. But he thought I was overreacting, saying that moving out would break our mother's heart, but staying would break mine. I urged him to be cautious, hoping he wouldn't make the same mistakes I had. "Do as you please. Don't say I didn't warn you. Come on, you're exaggerating. She's our mother. How could she harm us?" My younger brother dismissed my words, clearly not taking them to heart. Soon enough, he would regret his complacency. My brother was a highly organized individual. After graduating, he promptly set his sights on civil service exams, believing that a government job offered the most security. Given the economic downturn in recent years, his decision made perfect sense. He was exceptionally talented, not only passing the written exam on his first attempt but also ranking first. After acing the interview, he called me excitedly, announcing that he had secured the position. "Congratulations, kiddo. Name it and I'll get you a gift to celebrate," I said with a smile. No need, no need. Passing the exams is just the beginning. The Jungsun and public notice periods are crucial. Laying low is the smart move right now." Impressed by his prudence, I commended him but immediately reminded him not to breathe a word to anyone, especially our mother. If he had to share the news, it should only be after everything was officially confirmed. He assured me he'd be cautious, but his actions later proved otherwise. To my dismay, he was disqualified during the public notice period. My initial thought was foul play, a scenario all too common in such situations. My second instinct was to figure out the culprit. I rushed home and found my brother holed up in his room, crying in despair. "I don't know what happened," he sniffled. "After the interview, someone kept asking about me, trying to be friendly. I ignored them. Then my classmates told me that someone came to our school, even spoke to the teachers. They disqualified me, saying I had multiple romantic relationships on campus, but I've never even held a girl's hand. I'm single by choice." His voice cracked with emotion, on the verge of a breakdown. I tried to console him but he chased me out, needing time alone. In the living room, my parents and I sat in stunned silence. My father cursed the Jabal run vehemently, then tried to offer comfort. "Maybe it's for the best. There are plenty of other jobs out there. Civil service salaries aren't that high anyway. It's just a stable but unremarkable gig." My mother, uncharacteristically meek, echoed his words. Something about her demeanor felt off. Her usual brashness was replaced by a timid tone. Suspicions mounting, I confronted her directly. "Mom, does this have anything to do with you? Tell me the truth." "Of course you'd blame me," she exploded. "Every time something goes wrong, it's my fault. Do I have guilty written on my face? If you keep accusing me like this, our mother-daughter bond is over." She slammed utensils in the kitchen, wailing about my lack of trust. For a moment I felt a pang of guilt, questioning my own judgment. But my self-doubt vanished when my brother burst into the kitchen. "Are you sure you didn't say anything?" he demanded, his eyes red-rimmed. "My classmate told me the person who inquired about me knew exactly what to ask, even mentioned specific girls' names. How did they know all that?" Caught off guard by my brother's evidence, including chat records, my mother froze. I didn't know. Some guy at the neighborhood gym said he was your junior high classmate. He bought me a drink, so I chatted a bit, just shared some basic stuff. I had no idea he had bad intentions. How is this my fault? Just a bit? You even added him on social media and sent him my photos, didn't you? My brother choked back tears, scrolling through the damning messages. Her silence was deafening. Rage consumed us. My father slammed down the spatula, kicking over the trash bin in frustration. Why? Why can't you keep your mouth shut? Did keeping quiet threaten your life? And adding him on WeChat? Sending photos? What else did you tell him? Were you showing off again? My brother was inconsolable, his dreams shattered. I worked so hard. I aced every exam. What did I do to deserve this, Mom? Why? I didn't mean to. He seemed nice, so I mentioned you were popular in school, showed him some birthday photos. I swear I didn't know he was a bad guy. Her excuses fell flat, echoing the same deflection she always used after similar blunders. Despite her transgressions, she refused to take responsibility. Fine, it's all my fault. I'm an idiot. I should just die. They were out to get us, and I was the unlucky one who fell for their tricks. I might as well jump off the balcony and end this. She lunged towards the balcony, but our half-hearted attempts to stop her revealed the depth of our emotional exhaustion. Enough was enough. I grabbed a lounge chair and hurled it at the wall. Stop this farce. You ruined Zihan's chance and now you're playing the victim? You've caused so much damage and we're not allowed to be angry? If anyone should jump, it should be me. Good riddance. At least in the underworld, there won't be your histrionic crying. I kicked aside the debris at my feet and stormed towards the balcony, as if about to climb over the railing. My father and brother rushed to stop me, and my mother, forgetting her tears, scrambled to her feet to help. Seeing she was steady on her feet, I stepped back and sneered. Keep crying. You're making more noise than Zihan, who's been truly wronged. Are you entering a crying contest? I've never seen someone like you. Not only are you a blabbermouth, but you also shamelessly abuse your parental status to hurt your own children. You weren't satisfied with ruining me, and now you've dragged Zihan down. Are you addicted to sabotaging us or just plain stupid? But you're not stupid, are you? You only spill our secrets, never your own. Why don't you tell people you got scammed out of 50,000 yuan by believing in online Sadan? Or that you paid 6,000 yuan for a haircut membership, only for the shop to close down? Or that you starved yourself sick following some online influencer's diet? There's plenty of juicy gossip about you, yet you keep it all to yourself. Why? I stepped forward, my voice shrill with anger. My mother took a fearful step back, stammering and unable to respond. I knew exactly why she kept her secrets. Exposing her own embarrassments would be too humiliating. But did she ever consider that we wouldn't want to have our private lives aired either? I'll never forget the humiliation of my first period, when she thought it was hilarious to share with others how I'd stained my pants, clueless about what was happening. As a child, no matter how much I cried or protested, she didn't care about my dignity or feelings. All she wanted was to be the center of attention. My father once said our family had no secrets, but that wasn't true. She'd always kept herself shielded, leaving me, my father, and my brother to bear the brunt of the gossip and ridicule. Is this what you want? I asked her. You use us as fodder for gossip, but don't realize that others laugh at you too. We're family. When they mock us, do you really think they spare you? Wake up. You're part of the joke. I knew she wouldn't listen. People never understand pain until it's their own. So, I enlisted my brother's help to do to her what she'd done to us. We shared one of her trivial secrets, and soon enough, she felt the sting of public humiliation. That afternoon, I heard her stomping up the stairs. Bursting through the door, she pointed at us accusingly. Did you spread those rumors about me? I'm so embarrassed in front of my friends. I simply smiled as her finger waved in my face. How could you do this to me? What's wrong with me taking some free tissues? I paid the stall fee. Zhou Xiaowen, you made me sound so creepy, calling me a strapping hunk. You're going too far. She stamped her feet, pacing the living room in a dramatic display of hurt. My brother smirked, his face full of sarcasm. I didn't know they'd twist my words like that. I was just chatting. If I'd known, I never would have said anything. I chimed in, exactly. We thought those ladies seemed friendly. How were we supposed to know you'd mind? We echoed her own excuses, leaving her speechless. But we didn't stop there. Soon, the whole neighborhood was laughing at how she'd reused laundry detergent by diluting the leftovers 3 times. Humiliated, she begged us to clear her name, but we refused. I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong, she pleaded after days of being the butt of the jokes. She promised to change, but her empty words meant nothing to us. We'd heard them too many times before. When she showed no real signs of change, I packed my things and decided to leave. My brother felt the same way, quickly looking for a job so he could move out. Sensing our resolve, my mother desperately tried to make amends. She went to my old company to apologize to my former boss, and to the civil service unit that had disqualified my brother, admitting her fault. But it was too little too late. On the day we were set to leave, my father surprised us at dinner. I bought you an apartment. It's time you two moved out. You're grown-ups now. Take care of yourselves. Come visit if you miss us or just stay away and be happy. Your mother and I will stay here. I won't let her bother you. Here are the keys. He placed them on the table and fell silent. My mother panicked. Zhou Lianghua, you can't do this. I swear I've changed. Don't be so heartless. She collapsed to the floor, clutching at my father's legs, sobbing uncontrollably. When that didn't work, she turned to us, but we silently helped her up and then retreated to our rooms. My father sighed, looking at my mother. It's one thing for you to hurt me, but I can't let you ruin the kids' lives. Those chat records. Some of them were no different from slander. I can't stop you, but I can't watch you destroy them either. Let the kids go. We'll be okay on our own. As I stood at the door with my brother, luggage in hand, I looked at my mother's tear-stained face. Goodbye, Mom. Disappointment doesn't come overnight. You've broken our hearts too many times. It's better if we stay apart for now. After we left, I received a long apology message from her. The most striking line read, "Words mean nothing if you can't put yourself in someone else's shoes." I called out to my brother, "Maybe you can try the civil service exam again next year. I'll be with you this time."